Welcome, moviegoers. How are we doing? Good, good. Do you have your ticket? All right, what do we have here? Real Swell. Good choice. You're going to be in Auditorium 42. It's straight ahead and to the right. Enjoy. Last Breath. This movie releases tomorrow. I am just getting home from the Thursday night screening. This stars Woody Harrelson, Simu Liu, and Finn Cole. It's about a group of deep sea divers whose job it is to maintain the pipes that are running across the ocean floor. They do repairs and maintenance on the pipe system that delivers gas to, well, the world. This movie is based on a true story about these three divers and about one in particular who gets snagged on one of the rigs down on the ocean floor. And he gets snagged in such a way that his, well, they call them umbilicals, his cord that attaches him to the ship gets cut. Now, the reason that it gets cut is because there's a storm that the ship itself is dealing with on the surface, and it disables and disrupts their targeting and navigation system, and it shuts it down. So the ship is without power on the surface in this hurricane, it seems, and the ship gets drifted away or taken away by the waves and the current in such a way that the divers are also being drugged with the ship. Well, one of the divers gets his umbilical caught on the rig down at the bottom, and the tension becomes so great that it snaps his cord and he gets left at the bottom of the ocean. Now, because this cord gets ripped, of course, it means his oxygen supply gets cut off as well. Now, they do have backup oxygen, but it only lasts for 10 minutes. So, once the cord gets snapped, he gets pushed away just by the momentum of the ship going one way, and the opposite force pushes him the other direction. Well, back on the surface, the crew of the ship is trying to get the systems back up and running. And at some point, they just decide to manually override everything until they can figure out how to get it back up and running. And they manually try to right the ship, literally, and keep it from drifting further and further away from the dive site and from Chris, the diver who is stranded essentially. But while Chris is down there looking for a landmark, and it's the rig that's on the ocean floor, his oxygen begins to run out. Again, he's only got 10 minutes. He does eventually find his way back. However, the oxygen is just about to run out. So he gets to the top of the rig and he just lies down, and he even attaches himself to the rig so that he knows he's going to pass out. So he doesn't want to float away while he's unconscious. So he straps himself to the rig to make sure that when the rescuers come back for him, he'll still be there. And the story is told. I haven't seen a based on a true story movie in a while that felt real. It felt like an organic story being told. A lot of based on a true story, it's really inspired by true events, although they give you the caption based on a true story, but there are also movies that say inspired by true events. A lot of these based on a true story films feel like inspired by true events but this one felt like a real story being told about these actual people, about this actual person. Woody Harrelson does a phenomenal job. He's a very good actor, and he played all of the emotions of the veteran who is responsible for these other two divers. And the way he portrayed this character was amazing to me. Simu Liu, he isn't a dramatic actor. He can be funny. He has played in several action roles, most notably Shang-Chi in the MCU. But he struggled, I'll say, with the dramatic scenes in this movie. But I do think he played the role as they needed him to be. But in some of these emotional scenes, it was difficult for him to convey the emotions that we were supposed to be feeling. However, that doesn't take away from the overall experience of the movie and the journey that these characters go on and the arc that it takes us through. After he did run out of oxygen, he was without oxygen for 29 minutes. And to this day, scientists, doctors, medical professionals have no idea how he survived. Not only did he survive, but there were no lasting physical or mental repercussions. He was literally perfectly okay after being resuscitated and brought back to life, essentially, after having been deprived of oxygen for nearly half an hour. Um, it's an astonishing feat. It's an amazing story. And he goes back home to his fiance, who he's getting ready to marry. And again, a part of the credits actually is video from his wedding ceremony. And he is fine. This miracle of an event happened where he survived being under, I think they were at 300 feet when they got to the rig for half an hour with no oxygen and came out unscathed, as it appears. And so, again, the movie does an excellent job at telling the story and letting the story represent what happened. And that sounds weird, but it was just a really good movie about this true story. And the story came through on the screen, and not just actors, not just the plot. And everything looked good too. The underwater cinematography was also very good. This was a very good movie. I was actually very surprised. I don't know if surprise is the right word. I don't think I thought it would be bad, but I did not anticipate enjoying it as much as I did. So check this movie out. It's definitely worth seeing, especially if you know the history of the story, because I didn't. And essentially, I still don't. I've only watched, an hour and 40-minute recap of the story, but it is an amazing one, and I do recommend it. Thank you for coming to this screening of Real Swell. I hope you enjoyed. As you head out, I've got three things to ask of you. Number one, pick up your trash. These ushers don't get paid enough. Number two, make sure you are following so you don't miss the next screening. And number three, hit that heart for me. I'll see you all next time. Make sure you've got your ticket.